Stardom, Sid'em, Week 10. I got 3 defenses you should be starting. And instead of defenses you should be fading this week, I got a couple defenses you should be stashing for the rest of the season. Let's get right into the episode. So let's get this out of the way. You're starting the Vikings, you're starting the Steelers, you're starting the Bears, you're starting the Jets, and also the Chiefs. These are the obvious picks. I'm here to give you guys that are available on the waiver wire that you can add, plug and play, and possibly win a couple weeks with them. Now, first up, I got the Giants versus the Panthers. This is where I'm looking for a defense that can get me the sacks, create some turnovers. Bryce Young is still wet behind the ears. Even though these last couple of weeks he's been showing improvement, this is still a Giants defensive line that is one of the best in the NFL, and I mean that. They have the most sacks right now at 35. I understand that the Giants as a whole looks terrible as an organization, but this defense have been showing up in DST lineups, getting a ton of sack production. They're getting after the quarterback. They're going to be making him uncomfortable. QB hits are going to be knocking Bryce Young off of his game just based on just having so much pressure on this Panthers O-line, who made some improvements, but are still struggling to protect Bryce Young to keep him clean. So therefore, I'm looking for a ton of sack production, maybe a low scoring game, and also maybe possibility of some takeaways for this Giants defense. Next up, I'm pretty sure Philadelphia Eagles fans will enjoy this. They're going in my starting lineup to kick the Dallas Cowboys while they're down, being that the Dallas Cowboys have more storylines than the WWE right now, and the only bad thing is none of them are good. So, looking at this Eagles defense since week 3, there is no question if this is a top 7 defense. This DST option this week is going to be attacking with Dak banged up, CeeDee Lamb banged up as well. This is going to be a Cooper Rush, a failed run game in this Dallas Cowboys offense. So I liked the Eagles upside to put up some points, keeping the points low these last couple of weeks. Like I said, since week 3, this defense, you cannot question if they are legit. A top 7 pass defense, a top 5 run defense going up against this week, the very worst run offense in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. Sign me up for the Eagles in my starting lineups for week 10. Next up, I got the Lions this week against the Texans. Last week, we saw the Jets expose even more of what we known about this Texas O-line. They cannot protect CJ Stroud. He's hit the ground far too many times this season. I think this could be an opportunity where the Lions, they've kind of maintained some type of relevance when it comes to the sack production, and they had a takeaway in every single game so far this season, and CJ Stroud is not immune to interceptions. This is a great matchup where you can pounce on them. The Lions aren't rostered in a lot of fantasy leagues, believe it or not. They could be out there just waving on the waiver wire where you can just slide them in this week if you have one of these notable teams that you care about that are on bye, or you're just a little question about some of these other matchups this week. So I'd like the Lions to keep the points low, get the sack production, and obviously get the takeaways. They're hitting in the main areas that we care about. So this looks like an obvious matchup for week 10. Now to get into a couple of defenses you should be stashing for the rest of the season. I'm not going to spend too much time to elaborate on these defenses. A later video will be coming, but I just want to get these guys in this week so you could jump on the opportunity to bring them onto your rosters. The first defense has to go to my LA Rams. Their DST has been rising up the boards. They're currently top 10 in the rankings when it comes to points per game. You honestly look at this defense and what they've been able to do, open up that pass rush where these young guys are getting at their quarterback and it's getting ugly and they're taking the ball away. This is something that the Rams lacked in the last 2 seasons, but they are coming along the way. They got the Patriots, Eagles, and Saints in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, the Eagles will be a game that I will be hesitant about, but if they keep on playing on this hot streak, they might end up getting the start. Next up, I got the Bears, who for whatever reason, they're available on the waiver wire for you in less than 60% of leagues. This is a defense, honestly, that goes out there. They make the quarterback uncomfortable. They lead to the forced fumbles. They lead to the takeaways. And you honestly look at the sack production constantly leading up each and every single week. This is also a defense that likes to keep their teams to low-scoring teams. And again, regardless of what you think about the offense, this is a completely different side of the ball. There goes to so many examples where the offense is god awful. like them on the road, but where the defense steps up and keeps these games in somewhat type of a distance that they can make the big plays and stack on maintaining the points. Last but certainly not least, this should be obvious. The 49ers are not wowing anybody on DST, but they are a solid defense for the rest of the season, where you could see them maintaining points, getting some type of sack production, but the takeaways are there when it comes to this 49ers defense. When it comes to forced fumbles, when it comes to takeaways in the interception department, they are there at the top of the board. They're a hard defense to convert on third down as well, so therefore they're stopping these drives short, meaning they are going to be a team constantly in the high ranks to keep the points down, to maintain the points when it comes to DST points per game. They should be rostered for the rest of the season. So this wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. Please leave a comment below on your start and sit questions all the way up until game time. I'll try to answer them. And make sure you guys follow me at Real Deal Fantasy at all social media platforms. Until next time.